How's it going, guys? I thought I'd try something a little bit different today and go with a voiceover. This is almost entirely inspired by one of my favorite YouTubers, RecRap. Now, this guy, he's a Minecraft YouTuber, if you don't know him, and he started his channel by making like SMP content videos, and then he started speedrunning, and then he had a bright idea. Wait a second, what if I just talk and yap about random things that are going on in my life? And then, have entertaining speedrun content going on in the background. And since this isn't really something that I've seen explored on Rocket League, I thought it would be a neat idea to combine the competitive side of my YouTube channel with a little bit of a get-to-know-me session. Now, I will talk a lot about the game as we go, especially later on in the video once I'm done with my stories. But for example, I'll point out instructional moments like that. That's not a good touch. I shouldn't have just passed it right to them. My teammate also just decides not to rotate, but I can't really say much because I haven't been playing the best Rocket League of my life recently. Part of that is that I've dropped down to Champ 2 because I started playing with friends, and I really want to have fun in the game. I'm not going to not play with my plat friends because I want to have a higher rank. There's more important things in life. As long as I'm at the GC level, as long as I'm still playing good Rocket League. Playing with Champ 2 teammates is a little bit tricky. They're far less consistent, and you can't really rely on them as much. And in some ways you can make more mistakes as you climb the ranks. Some ways it's less, but in some ways you have a teammate that's going to cover you, and you can trust your teammate a little bit more. Sometimes, you lose a challenge, there's a chance your teammate just absolutely whiffs. For example, I was not prepared for that whiff off the backboard, but these are things that you just have to expect at Champ 2. This is actually kind of an encouragement for you if you are in Diamond. You don't actually have to be that good, you just have to be more consistent. You don't have to do anything fancy. Just better touches on the ball, taking time. If you're playing smart and you're making contact with the ball consistently, you can definitely go from Diamond to Champ very quickly. But to take a little break from the gameplay, I wanted to tell you guys the most anabolic workout experience that I've ever had. So one of my friends invited me to a workout / devotional where we spent 30 minutes working out and 30 minutes actually in a devotional. And I was thinking 30 minutes, that's not a lot of time. Usually when I work out, it's at least an hour. And if I'm doing heavy stuff, I'm giving myself usually 3 minutes between sets. My workouts take longer. But the fun part is, it wasn't like there was an agenda. I just kind of showed up. And it just so happened that we were primarily doing a leg workout. I just did legs the day before. And I hit new PRs on both squat and RDLs that day. Not in weight, but in reps for my normal set that I do. So my legs were absolutely cooked. And what made it worse is we were doing almost extreme hypertrophy, where we were doing 30 reps of each exercise. It was almost cardio. And when your legs are already sore, it's not easy just to crank out 30 reps of squats. And they were weighted squats, albeit with 25 pounds. But still, at this point, even if I were just doing body weight squats, which basically is what we were doing, when you're sore, that's a lot of lactic acid to fight through. Here's another instructional moment, by the way. Don't make this challenge. I'm last man. I'm not recovering anytime soon. I really just need to stall for my teammate, let him get back, and then we can take a 2v2 rather than leaving him in a 1v1 or a 2v1. It's just not conducive to success, especially when you're ranking up. You want to be playing as if you're the better person on the team. You want to trust your teammates, but you don't want to put too much pressure on them. But back to my story. Another thing that made this more anabolic is that every single person besides me and the friend that invited me just has the best beard ever. Some of these guys have full-on Viking beards. And apparently, the time before last, they were working out with logs. They were just bench pressing logs. Can you get any more caveman than that? There is just so much testosterone involved there. Now, I don't know if that's an interesting subject to you if you guys care about lifting. But I think it's always fun to get out there and try new things, even if there's more efficient ways to build muscle. I think it's just awesome to get out there with a community and do something, especially a community that has those shared interests with you. That's one of the things I love about YouTube, actually, is that you can meet a bunch of people with common interests just from either starting a YouTube channel or connecting with a YouTuber's fan base. I would actually love to start a Discord server, and it could be full of people that are competitive like myself, or even just people who are wanting to find friends that play Rocket League. Either way, let me know if that's something that you guys would be interested in. I would definitely be looking for moderators and people to help me set that up, because I love that idea, but it is certainly not my area of expertise. But my plan for the channel right now is to have a mix of tips and tricks videos and competitive videos, and also just a style of video like this where I try to connect with my community. Also, these types of videos are longer, and that's, good for watch time. I'm a big fan of authenticity, and I think it's important for you guys to know I want to make money. I feel like who doesn't want to make money off of YouTube? If it's not also a passion, I don't think you're going to be able to succeed in doing that. I want to actually make good videos. I put a lot of effort into my videos. I make entire scripts for my competitive style tips and tricks videos, and that takes a lot of time, just writing the script, and then I have to get the footage and edit it. That takes time, especially while I'm in college, and I wouldn't invest the time into actually doing that without making money if it wasn't something that I actually enjoyed. Hopefully I'll be able to make a few pennies here and there just to aid in the motivation a little bit. If you guys want to help support me in that, the best thing you can do is just to watch my videos and stick along for the ride, because I need 2,000 more hours of watch time before I can actually begin to get monetized. So if you guys want to support me, that's the best way to do it. But I'm also doing this to actually provide something of value to the Rocket League community. So let me know the things that you want to see. And there's a chance that I'll actually make a video on it, because that inspired the last 2 of my videos. And since I read every single comment, I will definitely take your opinions into consideration. Sorry, that was a major tangent. I just remembered something that made my workout even more interesting. The main person who organizes this devotional / workout thing is actually one of the people that I hear over the radio at work all the time. I am a police dispatcher, and as such, I talk to a lot of different people over the radio, and this guy happens to be a supervisor over a department, and I've never actually seen him in person, so I didn't recognize him. I didn't even recognize his voice when I saw him at first, but after some introductions, I was like, yeah, I'm a dispatcher, I work for the police department, and he was like, oh really, I do too. And we were talking, and it turns out that I've talked to him many times over the radio. I've talked to some of his underlings. In fact, one of the full-times that works under him, I guess you may call him the second in command under him, was also there. It was a big gathering from that specific department, and it was really cool because I had never really seen these people. I've just heard them over the radio. A lot of the other police officers I see more often, but I feel like I just unlocked 2 more characters, and hopefully I'll see them again, and when I dispatch them at work, they'll know, oh hey, that guy went to my devotional / workout thing that I started, and it'll be a little Easter egg that we can share. But apparently, and this is my favorite part, the supervisor said that he recognized my voice, and he said that I was the one who sounded very good over the radio. A lot of dispatchers add too much fluff when they're dispatching someone, which isn't good because you want to have the radio as clear as possible. In case there is an emergency situation, you want to have that line open, and you don't want to be adding a bunch of fluff while you're dispatching someone. And now that a lot of police stations are switching to plain speak, where you just literally say the situation instead of using a 10 code. People are kind of having a hard time switching over to that style. And as a result, they're just using a bunch of words that are unnecessary and take longer. And I'm guilty of that sometimes too. If anything, my problem would not be fluff. It would be maybe dispatching too quickly before I have all the information and then having to give a bunch of updates, which is something that I do, but I obviously want to make sure that my officer gets out there as quickly as possible. But regardless, I mean, I appreciated that compliment from him. It meant a lot. And since you never really hear, oh wow, you did a great job dispatching, you mostly just hear if you make a mistake, you know, it's good to hear. But anyways, my encouragement for you today is just get out there, do something interesting. Hey, you may meet a boss from work, you may meet someone that you didn't know existed, you may meet a best friend. I don't know. People are actually really cool, believe it or not. We have this joke in Dispatch that if there were no people, we wouldn't have any problems. But people are what make this world interesting. If there were no people, this world wouldn't be half as cool as it is. So get out there, try something new, go work out, I don't know, whatever floats your boat. But if you stayed long enough to watch my whole story, you probably think it's interesting. So let me know if you want to have content like this in the future, or if you would rather just see the competitive side of things. Either way, I won't be offended. Just let me know what you really think.